Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Dr. Erica Torres, System Vice President of Mission Integration. Thank you for being here with us for this very important PeaceHealth tradition. Today, we honor and celebrate our 2024 System-Wide Mission and Values Awards recipients. I'm thrilled to see we have so many people with us today. We have at this point more than 166 people logging in, and I'm sure that we'll have more coming on as we continue this afternoon. We're recording the ceremony, and we'll post it in the Caregiver next week for you to rewatch, or for those who aren't able to attend today, to be able to view the ceremony later. I joined PeaceHealth in late 2018. And what really drew me here was the mission and values. Like some of you, I've had the distinct privilege of getting to know some of our sisters who have played key roles in the development of our mission and values. Our sisters are fierce, and they don't play when it comes to walking the walk. That's why it is critical to pause and take time to recognize caregivers who exemplify our core values in their everyday work. This ensures that we continue to keep our purpose and our calling alive, living out the legacy that the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace set out for us. Our mission, to treat each person in a loving and caring way. It's the common thread that's woven through everything we do. Through the struggle, the pain, the joy, and triumph of caregiving, it is our mission that connects and sustains us. We must hold tight to it and our core values: respect, collaboration, social justice, and stewardship. Today, we're privileged to honor caregivers who are embodying our mission and values in everyday interactions with patients and with one another. I am so excited to present each of them in our ceremony today. But before we get started, I'd love to take a few moments to get to know you with some of our polling questions. To respond to the questions, go to slido.com on your mobile device or your desktop and enter the code #PeaceHealth. Or you can use your smartphone's camera app to scan the QR code that you see there on your screen. So our first poll question is, what PeaceHealth community are you from? Let's take a moment to see what's coming in. We have folks from Vancouver at the System Services Center, beautiful Washougal, Washington, from St. John. We have folks from Sacred Heart at Riverbend. We have folks coming in from Cedar Woolley. We have folks at Southwest, Ketchikan, Peace Island. We have more folks coming in from the SSC, the Northwest Network, Oregon Network, again, Northwest PHMG representing, folks in Eugene, Bellingham, a lot of folks coming in. We have some folks from Florence, again, Vancouver and Bellingham. Awesome, it's so great that you're all here with us today. We know we have folks who have been at PeaceHealth for many years and folks who may be experiencing their very first Mission and Values Award ceremony. So now, please share with us, how long have you been a caregiver at PeaceHealth? 20 years, wow. 24 years, 21 years. We have someone who's been with us 5 years, 2 years, 18 months. It is lovely to see the breadth of experience that we have with us today. I have someone saying they've been with us for 30 years. It's amazing. A year and a half, 2 months. That's right, I'm glad you're here with us. Each one of us is part of a unique PeaceHealth community, joined together by our mission and our values of respect, collaboration, social justice, and stewardship. So let's do one more poll question. For our caregivers in the audience, what is most meaningful to you about our mission and values? And I'll give you a moment to share your responses. Some folks are saying the collaboration, social justice, healing the underserved, radical inclusion, caring for the community, the focus on others, honesty and transparency, service to our community, the healing mission, people and compassion, and carrying on in the healing. So many beautiful, beautiful reflections that you're all sharing in terms of what is meaningful to you about our mission and values. Thank you to everyone for your wonderful responses. As I shared earlier, within each one of us lies the responsibility of carrying on the legacy of our sisters. Their grit, courage, and compassion inspires and guides us today. As our reflection today, I am pleased to share with you this video featuring the sisters and highlighting the history of PeaceHealth, highlighting our mission and values, and the important message that our sisters would like to pass on to caregivers today.
The state of healthcare in this country is concerning.
I think healthcare, as we have grown, has become an industry. You know, things like the pandemic called on every aspect of that industry, and particularly on the people who provide the care.
How does a system, a Catholic nonprofit system, survive in this kind of outcome?
The sea is rocky, the keel needs to be deep.
I'm going to show you some pictures. Let's start with that one.
Oh dear, that's so long ago. My old mind is getting rather rusty. Oh, lots of good memories, you know, lots of good people that work with. It's like a rogues gallery. You're all going to get old, so remember that.
What is it in our history as Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace that we feel that is so important that we want to pass on? When we came out from the East in 1890, we wanted to go in places that other people weren't serving. The loggers and miners, the fishermen and all those, they heard the cry of the people in the Northwest. So here are these women, relatively new in the community. We know that within a year they had a house set up for a hospital. I think a lot about those women. They had grit and they had courage.
As we, as the sisters, become less and less involved in the day-to-day life of the hospital system, it means that we want our values, the values that we envision for caring for people, to be embedded in such a way that the caregivers feel they are living those values themselves.
I think what gives me hope and peace for PeaceHealth is that we have core values.
The 4 core values of PeaceHealth are...
The core values of PeaceHealth.
Core values are
Collaboration.
Collaboration.
collaboration,
Respect.
Respect.
respect,
Social justice.
Social justice.
Social justice.
Stewardship.
Stewardship.
and stewardship.
Got 'em.
I realize that these are hard to remember, but they really are important.
New employees need to understand the mission and the values and know that they are the ones who are now carrying that out. It's a very special ministry. When we think of the patients that seek care in our facilities, you know, they're scared and concerned and worried about their own health. keep in mind how precious they are, and that we might treat them in a way that their families would be pleased.
I believe within each of us is a desire to make the world a better place, to make a difference. If you want to make a difference with your life, with your career, choose something that's going to be of service to other people, to make a community better, to make the country better. So often, our primary goal is to make money, and that's honorable. But to really want to make society better, that is noble.
I would tell you that you've chosen a gift, and that gift is to be able to reach a person, another human being, in a way that no one else can. Holding in your heart that you want to do the best you can. Just hold on to the presence, because you'll know it when you feel it.
A kind smile, a good morning, recognizes personhood, and that encounter then nurtures that wholeness of being.
You know, as I imagine our future, I'm so hopeful because I've worked with these people at PeaceHealth. You know, every day at our Word and Sacrament ritual in the chapel, we pray for PeaceHealth, for its caregivers, for the doctors and nurses, and for the communities in which we serve. I just want to say to each of you that we need you. May you know your goodness. And I think you need to know we're right behind you. We're right behind you.
You are the future. We can do together what we can't do alone.
Hearing those encouraging words from the sisters is so meaningful. If you didn't know already, our sisters care deeply about you and the work you do every day across our ministries. In fact, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our sisters who are here with us in person to honor our Mission and Values Award recipients. Thank you, Sister Sheila and Sister Mary Lee, for being with us today. We're joined now by Steve Glenn, PeaceHealth's Executive Vice President and Chief Business and Technology Officer, and our Senior Mission Leader. Thank you, Steve. We're eager to hear from you today.
Thank you, Erica. It's such a privilege and honor to be here today. I'd like to start by sharing again the PeaceHealth mission statement. We carry on the healing mission of Jesus Christ by promoting personal and community health, relieving pain and suffering, and treating each person in a loving and caring way. The words of our mission statement are powerful and historic. For more than 130 years, they have guided us in joyous times and during our most challenging times as we travel together on this healing journey. What inspires me personally each day as we strive to carry out this healing mission is the sisters' model of the attribute of being boldly courageous, working tirelessly to achieve the vision of health justice for all. The Mission and Values Awards are one of our highest honors that we as a health system present. Our recipients have been nominated by not only their leaders, but also by their colleagues and peers. The Mission and Values Awards serve as a reminder of why we are here. Each recipient is a shining example of why we serve our very important mission. The video we saw earlier showed how our mission emerged from the vision of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace, who were courageously involved in ministries of social justice, education, and healthcare. We are so pleased Sister Sheila and Mary Lee could join us today. It's such an honor to have them here, and we extend our heartfelt and warmest welcome to each of them. Now I'd like to take a moment to recognize the 2023 Mission and Values Awards recipients and to express our gratitude to them for their extraordinary service to our mission this past year and to the communities where they serve each day. Here are the 2023 Mission and Values Award honorees: Brian Nelson, Tricia Griffin, Keila Torres, Pat Stack, and Tina Noland. We asked Brian Nelson, our 2023 overall award recipient, what this past year has meant to him. Here's what he shared. As the 2023 overall Mission and Values Award recipient, I am honored to represent our compassionate caregivers who drive our green initiatives. Together, we have made significant strides in sustainability. Since this award, I have been charged by our leadership to expand my role to oversee environmental sustainability across all our facilities. I look forward to collaborating with each of you to continue delivering exceptional care to our communities while minimizing our environmental footprint. Thank you, Brian, for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Steve. As an expression of our gratitude and in representation of these honors, each of our recipients will receive this custom-made original work of art created by glassblower Daniel Sherlock. Designed in collaboration with the sisters, the piece features a dove in flight, meant to represent the journey of our caregivers as they continue to carry on PeaceHealth's mission and ministry, always moving forward and caring compassionately for our patients and communities. Let's begin the recognition of our 2024 recipients. And please, feel free to share your words of congratulations in the chat and any emojis you'd like to share to honor them as our recipients are announced. Let's begin with the value of respect, which calls us to respect the dignity and appreciate the worth of each person as demonstrated by our compassion, caring, and acceptance of individual differences. Now, Sister Andrea Nenzel will share more about this value.
When we talk about the value of respect, we mean more than being courteous, complimentary, or concerned. Respect calls us to look deeply, in a sense, to see beyond and see the worth of every person. We value respect for each person, not because a person earns respect, but because, grounded in our beliefs, each person is to be respected, reverenced, and loved. This means we speak and act toward each other with kindness, presence, and compassion, and communicate with honesty and integrity. Respect is cultivated, nurtured, and woven into our hearts and thoughts with genuine love and attention as we do our part to make the world whole, one person at a time.
Thank you, Sister Andrea. I'm Brian Stewart, Vice President for Home and Community. I'm happy to be here today to share that Colleen Story, a holistic care supervisor with Home and Community in Vancouver, Washington, is our 2024 Mission and Values Award recipient for the value of respect. Let's watch this video and learn more about Colleen.
When I was in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher had been reading us a book on Winnie the Pooh. She had all of his kids draw a picture of our favorite character. My teacher said, "Well, Colleen, you're the only one who drew Eeyore." She goes, "He sure is sad looking." And I said, "Yeah, he's very sad, but it's okay. When I get bigger, I'll learn how to make him feel better." I'm Colleen Story, and I'm the Holistic Care Supervisor with PeaceHealth Hospice. So my early career was in graphic design, and it was extremely unfulfilling to me, so I decided to go back to school. In the midst of going back to school, my boyfriend at the time completed suicide. I had no direction on how to handle such a situation. I had a lot of remorse, a lot of guilt. I didn't handle it well. It took me into a really dark space, down a real bad rabbit hole. Once I got into a group, a support group that helped me to understand these feelings and where I was going, that helped to motivate me to complete my schooling. I wanted to have bereavement as my focus to help people to navigate that journey of grief, perhaps just even a little bit better than what I did.
I first got to know Colleen when my husband passed away, and I joined a grief group, and she was the facilitator of the group. And she made everyone feel so very comfortable. Just gave us hope that things were going to get better as we went around the group and shared. I remember sitting in the group one evening, and I could feel so much emotion inside. For some reason, couldn't put it into words. I had tears coming down my face, and Colleen asked the right question. And of course, the floodgate opened, tears flowed, and a lot of healing took place. Oh, just how gracious she was, and how good she was at her job at helping me get at what was really bothering me.
I'm part of PeaceHealth Hospice Hope Bereavement Services, and Stepping Stones is our children's program. We work with children from 4 to 19 and their family. The most rewarding thing is the resilience of the kids and the families. I believe that we all have that innate ability inside ourselves to heal if we are willing to be brave enough to step into that grief and to open up and to say, this is how I feel.
Colleen, the work that you do to provide comfort and care to those who are grieving is touching. You have definitely found the work you are meant to do. Colleen, I'm delighted that you're here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. It's truly a pleasure to get to know you and to celebrate and recognize what you're receiving for bringing the value of respect to life. Is there an experience with the Stepping Stones Bereavement Camp patients and families that stands out to you?
Oh my gosh, Brian. There are so many experiences that stand out, but there is one that I will always remember. And to be truthful will always motivate me to do this important work. The family consisted of a mother and her 3 children. The father, a military veteran, had completed suicide. And as you can imagine, the death was extremely hard on this family. The family participated in our Stepping Stones program, which is our children and family grief support group. The family came every other week for the entire school year. One of the children didn't or couldn't talk about or share their feelings at all. They were completely shut down. They went the entire year with what really seemed to be indifference. The family attended the Stepping Stones weekend retreat that summer. And during camp, we divide the children into age-appropriate groups. So they work on a variety of activities designed to help them process and heal from their loss. So during camp, this particular child continued to be extremely withdrawn. One of the healing activities was to write a poem as a group. So the poem had several prompts, such as we are, or we wish, we feel, or we believe, something that they put in words together as a group. So the goal was to get the group to complete the 13 prompts to the poem as a unit, to help everyone there realize that they weren't alone in their grief journey, and that they weren't the only ones feeling lost or hurt or fearful. So on the last day of camp, as tradition, the group stands in front of the camp counselors, the volunteers, all the other Stepping Stones family, and they read their poems aloud. So it just happened on this one child that there was a family emergency, so he was the only one in the group that was going to be sharing his the poem. So he walked to the front of the room with the volunteer, and the volunteer took over and was going to read the poem for him because he hadn't been talking. After the first line that the volunteer read, the child stopped and said, "I'll read it." Now you have to understand, this is in front of the entire camp. This was a child who rarely spoke, standing in front of a room, reading out loud the poem that his group had written together. So what took the other groups 3 to 4 minutes to read, it took this child, 10 plus minutes. After each line, the child would break down sobbing, to gather themselves together to read that next line, to break down sobbing all over again. This child, who was getting in trouble with school, at home, with the law, had started finally beginning to share their feelings. They started taking their first steps towards healing. And this was a turning point for this family, and more importantly, this child.
Wow. That's amazing. I can imagine this type of scenario happens often at camp.
Yes, breakthroughs like this happen at camp all the time. Families share their feelings sometimes for the very first time together. Camp is designed to help families tap into their feelings while roasting marshmallows, going on grief scavenger hunts, swimming, or just participating in the nighttime memorial walk. It's hard, it's emotional work, but ask any of the children who have attended the camp and they'll tell you, hey, it's fun, you know? So the Jim and Kay McClaskey Stepping Stones Retreat really is successful because of the bereavement team and all of the volunteers who give their time. They say it takes a village, and boy, oh boy, do I have an incredible village to work with. My future goal here is to have a freestanding bereavement center where there's a safe outdoor space for children to participate in outdoor healing activities, where there perhaps is a reflective garden, a place to sit and meditate and reflect on life without distraction. In other words, I want a home for the bereaved in our community. So I love what I do. I love it. Bereavement is my passion, and I love that I have the support of PeaceHealth Home and Community. So I say thank you very much for allowing me to share my passion with you.
Thank you, Colleen. What a beautiful story. Congratulations to you on receiving this reward. Now we'll focus on the value of collaboration, which calls us to the value of involvement, cooperation, and creativity all work together to promote the health of the community. Let's welcome Sister Eileen Trainer, who will share more about this value.
The value of collaboration reinforces our belief that we can do more together than we can do alone. Looking back at the tireless, courageous work of our founding sisters, PeaceHealth is embedded in collaboration. We recognize the gifts and talents that we each have, calling them forth in one another, while also reaching out to those we engage with in our ministries. Collaboration is embedded in the life of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace, and it's embodied in the life of PeaceHealth. Recognizing our interdependence, whatever one of us does impacts another. We do for others what we cannot do for ourselves.
Thank you, Sister Eileen. I'm Chuck Prosper, Chief Executive for PeaceHealth's Northwest Network. I'm delighted to announce Milena Monroe, clinical educator at PeaceHealth's St. Joseph Medical Center in Bellingham, Washington, is our 2024 Mission and Values Award recipient for the value of collaboration. Let's watch the video and learn more about Milena.
I started dancing when I was a kid. And so for me, it's a personal healing, creating that mindfulness. As we all learn and grow, we need to realize that maybe there isn't such a thing as perfection. It's just getting better every time. And it's still beautiful. My name is Milena Monroe. My job, essentially, is having difficult conversations. When a patient is in crisis and they're experiencing trauma activation, it could be something that reminds them of a past experience, then they're going to react as though there's a threat. When that happens, sometimes that can lead to behaviors that are really unsafe.
Milena is able to discern what's beneath the outward challenging behavior and get at the connection by deepening her understanding of what that person may be experiencing. So that's a really wonderful quality she has and is able to teach others.
When I first started nursing, it was very obvious that I had a connection with patients who were labeled as problem patients. And my nurse team leads would oftentimes give me assignments that were full of, quote unquote, troubled patients. And so I studied a lot and really started to analyze, what am I doing to connect with patients that other people think of as problems when I just see puzzles? I've had adversity in my life. In my past, I've had my fair share of trauma, especially in my childhood. During nursing school, I realized that the behaviors that I was seeing that were a result of my trauma experience were not serving me well. So I was able to overcome my own adversities and my own trauma to sit in this reflective space where I can then take that trauma and instead of dwelling on it, use it as a superpower. And so I want to set the stage. Have we all had those patients? Naturally, through all of the self-discovery, I then started to infuse that into classes. How can I reach a large number of caregivers rather than those that are just on my shift?
If we don't look with curiosity at the stigmas that exist, we're missing out on a huge opportunity, rich understanding, and, in my mind, true healing.
We all went into the caring professions because we wanted to take care of people. I think that if we can all realize that trauma is prevalent and that it affects everyone's behavior, we can all connect with and ultimately care for our patients and each other.
As an educator, Milena has such a wonderful way of truly understanding and connecting with caregivers and providers, no matter where they are in their journey, and sharing her knowledge with her colleagues. It's wonderful to honor her with this award. Milena, it's a pleasure to have you today. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you.
One thing about this day and the work that you do, we think about the gratitude for the caregivers and the knowledge that you impart to them and how it benefits our patients. Tell us a little bit more about trauma-informed care and why it's important.
Well, to understand and to answer that question, I kind of want to dive a little bit into what trauma-informed care is. And trauma-informed care is gently shifting our thinking away from, what is wrong with that person, to, I wonder what happened to that person. Trauma is prevalent. 70% of the US population has experienced trauma. We know it has a profound effect on the brain and body. And so on the body, it can affect the immune system, the cardiovascular system, and lead to a whole host of problems, including cancers and heart disease and stroke, diabetes, obesity. In the brain, to understand its effects in the brain, I kind of want to imagine for a second that you're in a place where it's not safe. And so several times a day or every night, it feels unsafe. When that happens over a long period of time, the brain becomes predisposed and puts us on high alert at all times. And so even the slightest stress can cause a huge reaction. Those reactions can feel unsafe to caregivers. And those unsafe behaviors or those particular diagnoses can lead to stigma and bias that really take us away from caring for patients. And so at its heart, trauma-informed care is radical inclusion. It is a way that we can see beyond that stigma to the heart and soul of the person who is in front of us.
Now I recognize why you are honored for collaboration. You're an amazing educator, and that was very helpful for me to hear. I learned something new today. What else should we do to support this very important work?
I'm glad you asked. There are some things that we can do on a couple of different levels. On the system level, there is a substance use disorder toolkit and some order sets that are coming through the pipeline right now. And so if this toolkit, which is formed with a trauma-informed approach and through a trauma-informed lens, or these toolkits that have these life-saving medications attached to them, if they come across your desk or someone asks your committee for some time, please help to usher in this important work to see it to go live. For the facility level at St. Joe's, we are forming a trauma-informed leadership team. And so what we're going to do is take a look at our education efforts and guide those education efforts. We're going to look at all of our policies and procedures through that trauma-informed lens to see if we're meeting that mark, and take a look at all of our signs or our outward-facing literature that we're handing to patients through that trauma-informed lens. And this is really important work. So if you got an invitation, please think about joining, and if not, please support this work as it comes through. On the interpersonal level, it's important to know that trauma is everywhere. And actually, when I do this class for residents, I have an anonymous way for them to answer some questions about trauma in their past. And around the general population, about 70% have experienced trauma, but for our caregivers, that's more like 90% have experienced trauma. And so it's not only in the interactions that our caregivers are having with patients, it's those leaders and how we respond when trauma shows up in those meetings and on the floor. And so if we can shift our thinking away from, what is wrong with that person, to, I wonder what happened to that person, we can more realize our mission of caring for each person in a loving and caring way.
Please know that we are 110% behind this work, and congratulations once again for your award.
Thank you.
Now we'll focus on the value of social justice, which calls us to build and evaluate the structures of our organization and those of society to promote the just distribution of healthcare resources. I'd like to welcome Sister Sheila Lemieux, who's going to share some of the history behind this value.
Our value of social justice was chosen by the founding sisters in response to the social concerns and needs of their time, and because they were deeply moved by people suffering from oppression. Today, this commitment for dignity and justice for all remains stronger than ever. We have a responsibility to shine a light on the profound effect social inequities have on health and well-being and to respond with just action. We are called to promote the inherent dignity of each person and seek justice through solidarity, especially in service to the most vulnerable. Together, we can be the change needed to further the common good and ensure a PeaceHealth experience where dignity for all flourishes and where our actions make our world a safer, more compassionate, and inclusive place.
Thank you, Sister Sheila. Hello, I'm Jim McGovern, Chief Hospital Executive for the Oregon Network. I'm so pleased to share that Kathy Mayu, Environmental Services Lead at PeaceHealth Sacred Heart Medical Center at Riverbend in Springfield, Oregon, is our 2024 Mission and Values Award recipient for the value of social justice. Let's learn more about Kathy.
Kathy really does not like being in the spotlight, but I think she needs to be in the spotlight. She needs to shine. I think she needs to be shown.
Housekeeping, would it be okay if I came in and cleaned your room?
When I go in and clean a patient's room, I thoroughly enjoy talking to the patients.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I am a distraction from whatever's going on in the hospital. I'm cleaning their room, they get a clean room, and they get a conversation. It makes my heart big. I'm Kathy Mayu. I am an EVS tech and lead at Riverbend. I tend to get involved with a lot of volunteer and fundraising activities. This year we had a plant sale, we did a mocktail party, we've done a bake sale, we've done a craft fair. I want to say that there's more, but I can't remember them all. I like to help out others. And by me being able to do these little things comes naturally. Back in 2008 and 2009, the market went down. Both my husband and I, we worked in the motorhome industry and our plant ended up closing, so we needed a hand up. Honestly, there was a time that we were like, we might lose our house. And since then, it's just been a big motivator to help out whenever we have anything extra. You feel their pain. You've experienced it, you know it. Your heart is just there that you need to help when you can.
I think in social justice, Kathy sees the value in giving an edge up. Sometimes it's major needs, like food for Thanksgiving. And when you do make a difference in the community, there is such a fulfillment in that. And when you think about the impact that she has had on this community, it's truly inspiring.
Social justice to me means that you just treat everyone fairly. It doesn't matter if they are at rock bottom, if they need a hand, they need a hand. So you just help them.
We are pleased to be here today to shine a spotlight on Kathy and the joy and comfort she brings to our patients through her daily work and her impact as a volunteer in our community. Kathy, it's wonderful to have you here today.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you, Jim.
Your efforts for our patients and our community are such an inspiration. Tell us what you enjoy most about volunteering your time with the Thanksgiving Basket Program. Why is it so close to your heart?
I enjoy volunteering my time and knowledge to the support of the Thanksgiving Basket Project because it comes easily. I plant seeds for my garden, so I just take those seeds and I plant more.
and then I just donate them. We do a lot of hiking, my husband and I, and we take a lot of photos. So the photos I can just print up, and those get donated also to the Thanksgiving Project. And then the craft fair, we do the craft show, and people just they just pay a fee for the tables, and then we donate that fee to the Thanksgiving Project. And crafts are something that I enjoy doing anyway. It makes my heart big knowing that I'm helping someone who might need a hand up. My husband and I have struggled at points, and now that we help with food and clothing and a place to rest, people can rest their heads with us. I never thought I would be recognized for this, so thank you.
Kathy, you're so deserving of this recognition. Next is our value of stewardship, which calls us to serve the community and hold ourselves accountable to exercise ethical and responsible stewardship in the allocation and utilization of human, financial, and environmental resources. Sister Charlotte Davenport is now going to share a little more about the importance of this value.
PeaceHealth's value of stewardship is essential to the integrity of who we say we are and to what and how we do what we do. Stewardship is more than oversight and management of financial resources. Stewardship begins first in care, concern, and support for the caregivers and clinicians who bring their gifts and talents in service for the people and communities PeaceHealth is committed to serve. Our caregivers are all treasured human resources. Good and faithful stewardship is integral to the fulfillment of PeaceHealth's mission. In the hands of competent, wise, compassionate stewards, the precious gifts entrusted into our care are to be stewarded with respect, collaboration, and social justice.
Thank you, Sister Charlotte. I'm Tracy Fernandez, Chief Financial Officer and Interim Chief Executive for PeaceHealth Southwest Medical Center in Vancouver, Washington. It is with great pleasure that I announce Carmen Volcani, a surgical nurse for PeaceHealth Southwest Medical Center, as our 2024 Mission and Values Award recipient for the value of stewardship. Let's learn more about Carmen.
As a surgical nurse, my day starts out with coming in, helping opening up the room, looking into the patient's chart, getting some history, and all the products that need to be used for that. My name is Carmen Volcani, and I am a surgical nurse. My nickname? I am the recycling queen around here. One thing that bothers me most about the waste is the sheer volume that we have. There's a lot of waste that comes out in just one day, in just my shift alone. This became an emotional challenge for me because I just saw so much being thrown away that was clean. Originally, when I came here, they had already had some type of program in place for recycling, or they thought they did. The staff was trying their best to separate things out. Then they found out that it wasn't really getting to the destination. When they were looking out the windows, they would see some of the work that they'd done, and it was just getting thrown into the garbage. So when I came and I started talking about that, the staff was saying, "We've already tried it, it's not gonna work." I thought about it and I just thought, no, there's gotta be a way. So I just kept pushing it and pushing it. The biggest hurdle in this process was thinking about the cost. We were even about to get funding, but then COVID hit and things all ceased. My lowest point was in thinking it's never gonna happen. And I actually thought about just throwing my hands up and saying, I'm done. What got me through to changing gears again and going in the right direction was probably our sustainability director here, Brian Nelson.
I mean, Carmen and I come from very different backgrounds, professionally, but we had an immediate connection when it came to sort of the tree hugger side of things. And we were just both excited to meet somebody else who just kind of gets it on day one. In the operating rooms now, the team has processes for the capture of blue wrap, collecting glass. We were collecting cardboard, plastics, saline bottles, and those types of things.
My coworkers really saw a change coming when everything started to move really smoothly. And they got excited about the changes, and they could see then how much we were gathering. And I think that really motivated them a lot. Looking back on all of this, boy, perseverance. I was able to turn other people around and change their minds, and that really made me feel very good. And I could not do it without my staff. We have grown a little bit closer together in doing this process. Everybody's chipping in, and we're just one great big huge team, and that's really great.
That was amazing. I can see why you wear the title Recycling Queen very proudly. Carmen, your passion for being an advocate for good stewardship of PeaceHealth resources, even through all the hurdles and challenges, is fantastic. I know your audience would love to hear from you. Welcome, Carmen.
Thank you.
Carmen, your energy and enthusiasm for sustainability and implementing positive changes are contagious. Would you tell us what motivates you in championing sustainability at PeaceHealth?
Oh, yes, thank you. I think when I think of my motivation, there's three words that come to mind: persistence, direction, and intensity. Persistence requires you to stay on track with the challenge. And I've been working at this for about 5 years now in trying to make this program and project successful. It just started out with me going into the ORs and starting my career and seeing all the waste that we were having just go out into the trash. And I thought, I've got to do something about my work environment and make it a better place for us to work in, and in our community too. So I just went ahead and thought, okay, let's try to get something going. So my first direction was to recruit some help, some of my coworkers, and they were really pretty reluctant at first. Took a little bit of motivation and encouragement on my part to say, no, we can do this, we really can. And so I got together with some, we started strategizing what we were going to do, what would work efficiently and simply. And we came up with a plan that just started to grow and grow. So our intensity of this program is just becoming so grand in scope, and it's all because of the support of my coworkers and other staff members at the hospital and other departments as well. So it is something that I'm very, very proud of, and I'm looking forward to actually doing more and more, and just finding other resources so that we can try to reach out to all the PeaceHealth facilities and create a great sustainability project for us. I'd like to thank some coworkers too, if I may.
Please.
Yes, actually all my coworkers in the OR, their energy and time they put into recycling is fabulous. I couldn't do it without them. And a special thank you to our ORAs, that stands for Operating Room Assistant. And they really helped me the most in getting this process done, from getting it from our department clear out to the docks where it can be picked up for recycling. We've had a lot of great success in the past. We have, in the last 2.5 years, since we've been writing down statistics of what we've been doing, we have actually taken over 69,000 pounds of blue wrap out of our landfills and about 14,000 pounds of glass out of our landfills. So we really have had some great success. And I am so grateful to PeaceHealth for their decision to hire Brian Nelson, our sustainability manager. He is my greatest ally, and we really do share the love and empowerment that this program that we're putting together is giving to all of the people at PeaceHealth and to our community. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. That is so amazing. I hear how dedicated you are about this work. You are such an asset to PeaceHealth. Congratulations again on this well-deserved award.
Thank you so much.
Now joining us is Melissa Edwards, PeaceHealth Medical Group's Interim Chief Executive and Chief Medical Officer, who will introduce our final award recipient.
Thank you, Tracy. I am honored to announce this year's overall Mission and Values Award recipient. Out of all the nominees and recipients identified this year, this overall award is given to one individual who exemplifies our mission and all 4 of our values, bringing them to life through their compassion, caring, service, and commitment. This year's recipient is Therese Horan, nurse practitioner and certified nurse midwife for PeaceHealth Squalicum Parkway OBGYN Clinic in Bellingham, Washington. Let's learn more about Therese and the incredible work she is doing.
One of my favorite things is to work with people who've had experiences where they felt unheard. I find so much joy in helping people be able to be empowered and navigate the medical system on their own terms. My name is Therese Horan. My clinic name is Seikuni, and I am a nurse practitioner and certified nurse midwife at PeaceHealth OBGYN. I grew up in Sitka, Alaska. When I went to college, I became unintentionally pregnant. I found myself in a different state that did not have easy access to the Indian Health Service that I was used to navigating. I was alone, I was scared, and even though I was doing everything that I could for this baby that I was growing, I found myself really lost and out to sea. It felt monumental. I went into labor with my daughter, Rose, 3 months early. So I was flown on a medevac airplane while I was in labor from Sitka to Anchorage. I found out that my daughter was actually not doing very well. As the oxygen mask was on my face, I asked, "Are you doing a C-section?" Because at that point, no one had told me. And they said yes. And I said, "Can you tell me why?" And I was told, "We think your daughter is dead." The next thing I know, I am waking up alone in a recovery room. I found out from one of the nurses in the recovery room that she actually was alive. And she not only survived, but she fought, and now she's 21 and thriving. In that experience, I realized that for people working in healthcare, you have to navigate some of the scariest, most vulnerable times in your patient's life. Once I was on the other side of that very emotional experience, I was left with this feeling, it can be better than this. There were many different ways that I was educated and spoke to during that process that felt like I wasn't being treated as an empowered patient.
Therese is one of my providers. I think she definitely can put herself in patients' shoes because of her experience and her backstory. She can really identify the barriers that people have in navigating healthcare. And that doesn't just apply to people with her background, it applies to all of our underserved communities.
When patients have experienced intergenerational mistrust within the medical system, it creates a culture where patients might not feel comfortable coming to us until it is too late. We feel welcome in environments where people understand our culture, understand our language. There's representation both in staff and in the art on the walls. Finding a way to utilize our limited resources in the most efficient way possible has been one of the really satisfying things about this work. We are just at the beginning of this work. There is so much that we can do, and we are at a time where this work has to be done.
What a beautiful and amazing story, Therese. Thank you for sharing such a personal experience that led you to the work that you're doing at PeaceHealth today. We're delighted to have you here and look forward to hearing from you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here today.
Yeah, thank you. Can you share with us a little bit more about why you're so passionate about raising awareness about the experiences of Alaskan Native and Native American caregivers and patients?
Yes, thank you so much. As I shared in the video, I grew up accessing healthcare only through the Indian Health Service. And it wasn't until I had left home and became pregnant with my daughter Rose that I had to learn to navigate the healthcare system outside of the Indian Health Service, which included figuring out how to get health insurance, what medical provider accepted that insurance, where do you get your blood drawn, ultrasounds, pharmacy, the list goes on. And I found myself in a position where I was working so hard to do the best that I possibly could for my own health and the baby that I was carrying. But it would be very easy to label me as a non-compliant patient simply because of a lack of understanding of how the healthcare system worked. We know that Black, Brown, Indigenous women of color are 2 to 3 times more likely to die due to complications in pregnancy, labor and delivery, and the postpartum period than Caucasian women. And there's so much that we can do when we look at patient populations to identify where the gaps are in the care that we're providing and what the needs are. And so the work that I've been doing is identifying within these tribal communities, within the Northwest Network, what services are available within the home clinics that we can be encouraging patients to utilize so that we can work together, decreasing strain on patients, decreasing strain on providers, decreasing lack of care for patients, and creating really a holistic, integrated model of care for patients. I've felt so supported in this work from PeaceHealth, from the administration, both within the Northwest Network and on a system level, and then from my colleagues as well who have been working so hard during the pandemic. So I'm very excited that we're having these difficult conversations, and truly, this is just the beginning, and there's so much that we can do.
Well, your joy and your passion are infectious, and you are truly meant to do this work. Thank you for being an example to all of us. And thank you for empowering your patients and ensuring that they feel seen and heard. All of us at PeaceHealth Medical Group are extremely proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now let's welcome back Steve Glenn.
Thank you, Melissa. What a wonderful group of women award winners that we celebrate this year. I'm so impressed by the inspiring stories we've heard today. Congratulations to each of our award recipients and to the 70 recipients that were recognized in January in the PeaceHealth communities where they serve. Our mission leaders, along with our sisters, were able to spend some time with each of today's award recipients. They all carry these 4 attributes: compassion, care, community, and humility. Each of you is so deserving. You truly reflect our healing mission and inspire us. Lastly, I'd like to leave you with this thought from the foundress of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace, Sister Margaret Anna Cusack. We want brave, noble, large-minded, courageous souls. This is what she was seeking as she set out to recruit others to be part of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace. Our 5 award recipients represent these attributes. Now let's welcome back Erica to share some closing remarks.
Thank you, Steve.
and the hundreds of you who joined this virtual award ceremony to celebrate our heritage and our 2024 Mission and Values Awards recipients, Colleen Story, Milena Monroe, Kathy Mayu, Carmen Volcani, and Therese Horan. I believe I speak for everyone in expressing sincere appreciation to the 5 of you for inspiring us this afternoon and every day as you live out our mission and values, and for helping us all to believe we can as well. Again, thank you all for being here to celebrate these incredible PeaceHealth caregivers. It has been a truly memorable occasion. Remember, together, we carry on our healing mission to treat each person in a loving and caring way, every time, every touch. Have a wonderful evening.